There we go. Nice and set up, and I can have my hands free. Ugh. Hello. How are you? Ooh, what is this?
Creme brulee.
Ooh, that is tasty.
Yeah, I think it has chunks of marzipan in the bag.
Yeah. Tastes like it. Just woke up. It's snowing. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I can see it with my eyes. And as you can see, there's snow on the ground. So as per tradition, I gotta do a snow time vlog. You could definitely tell things have changed a lot since our last snow time vlog. For starters, I'm actually wearing a toboggan today instead of my cap or a bandana because it is freaking cold. My poor blueberry bush is probably dead. But for those of you who are new to my snow time vlogs, I ramble like hell. Normally I live stream these things, but today, and because I have started multi-streaming, I'm just going to use this as an uploaded video. Why? Because I can. And I have Brian's voice playing in my head that I need to do the recording with my phone on its side rather than on its bottom. So voila. That is why the aspect ratio is correct now. But starting off the year of chill with, I have a crown. I had to get one of my teeth crowned. I didn't know that to crown a tooth, they drill and grind the tooth down real low and then put a fake tooth on top. I was under the assumption that a crown was they looked at the tooth and they put a metal cap on it, like putting foil around a baked potato. That's how I thought the crown was. I didn't realize you had to cut the baked potato in half, make the rest of the baked potato out of something, and then stick it on the potato. Illusion, you know. So we could both understand what in the world just happened to my mouth. I get a permanent one in a couple days. Provided the weather lets me. Oh my gosh. I'm wearing 2 layers of pants, 2 shirts, long thigh-high socks, which, by the way, Thunder Thighs is an amazing online store for thigh-high socks for big women with big thighs, or just big legs in general. My gosh, these guys are great. And thigh-highs, they don't just like go up to your kneecaps like most thigh-highs do on big ladies. Like, I have big, strong calves. It's near impossible to get like knee-high socks that actually fit. And I like them. I really do like knee-highs. They feel so warm and they feel so cuddly. But these thigh-high socks that we got from Thunder Thighs go almost, if they could, they'd go up to my hips. If they could. If I didn't have stuff in the way, they would go all the way up to the tops of my hips. These things are awesome. But yeah, I'm wearing a nice pair of those. I got my socks. I got a new denim jacket. There's a lot of new things in my life. Unfortunately, a child is not one of them yet. Yeah. Still working on that. I want to have a kid so bad. I really do. I want additional human little feet. But all I can do is try, and try. The only true failure is when you stop trying. That whole jazz. So here's hoping. Here's hoping. In a way, though, I do act as the mom for several of my friends. And one of my mods. You know, we were just talking last night. And I'm like, make sure you're staying warm, make sure you're hydrated. And he's like, shut up. he's adorable. I want a kid that is genetically mine and my husband's. That is what I would like. But like I said, we'll see. Apparently I'm fertile, so, and we've run a crap ton of tests, all that tell me, well, according to the lab work, you're fine on both sides of the issue. And I'm like, well, something's wrong. 2021 is, no, was it 2021? No, it's 2022. Because the other babies that were born, there's multiple. Well, one of my husband's cousins, and then one of my friends. I had her as a roommate. She's a good human being. They had babies last year. Both of them around the time. No, not last year. No? No. No. They had them in 2023, because they're months old now. They're not a year yet. Yeah, I didn't tell any of them what had happened until after their babies were born, because of the superstition that's in my head of, if I told them what if they miscarried too, I'd never forgive myself. But anyway, I guess changing topic. This year I'm supposed to be doing the year of chill. Last year I did year of challenges. God decided to make that a challenge in and of itself. There's a lot of stuff to work through last year. But this year is going to be my year of chill. I do not have that many New Year's resolutions. I have maybe 8. Got some health. Wait a minute, is that a bunny rabbit? It's a bunny rabbit. I doubt you could see it on the phone though, because I could barely see it with my human eyes. And as we all know, phones don't pick up the same resolution as our eyes do. A good chunk of the time, as I have discovered, especially phone cameras. But I got some for health, some for wealth, and some for self. Got some for art, for book. Oh yeah, I got a book editor. He sucks. And after getting my developmental edits back, it feels like I wasted $2,000. There are some things that he pointed out that he is very correct on. Some things. But the developmental edits feel like, they don't feel like developmental edits. They just feel like a, well, editorial. Like he could have written all of this down in a different document and been like, here you go. Which really, really sucks because I wanted to get published this year. And I have accepted the fact that I don't think that's going to happen. Because this editor has been terrible. Everything was supposed to be done by October. Everything. In terms of edits. He was supposed to do a developmental edit by the middle of September. I was supposed to go through all those edits in the span of a week, was my plan. I even took it off work. And for those of you who know, my work, I am a freelancer, and I stream on Twitch, so that is no other things other than book for an entire week. Like, maybe he'll get it to me today. Maybe today. For a full week. And that week, it turned into a month. And that month turned into 2 months. November 14th. Which, by the way, I finished paying this guy. And I still hadn't got my developmental edits back. Because I had to pay on a timetable with Redsy. Dylan, you done fucked up. You really did. And unfortunate for you, you fucked up to a person who will tell other people. And it will spread. Because trust me, the moment I am done with this review, which is the moment I finish my going over my edits, sending it back to him for copy edits, because yeah, he did developmental edits and copy edits, which is, developmental is looking at the story itself, copy is essentially looking at, like, punctuation. It's essentially like fancy proofreading. He did both at the same time. You're not supposed to do that. That's another thing. But no, just trying to get my manuscript back from him was like pulling teeth. At this point, I now understand how hard that is, because I had to get a crown. I almost feel better if they yanked the tooth out, which, by the way, the reason I had to get a crown was because this particular tooth is cracking in half. And the crack is not just to the gum. After she drilled it down, she discovered it's under the gum. So the crown is going to be designed to make sure that this tooth doesn't crack more. So yeah. Yeah. But anyway, this editor. So everything was supposed to be done by mid-October. Everything. Supposed to get me developmental edits back in September. I get the review, where I review it, apply changes, and then send it back to him for a copy edit. It makes me wish I had gone with a guy who was going to cost me $5,000. Because this has been, it feels like such a waste of time. Keep in mind, I didn't sit on my ass and twiddle my thumbs this entire time. I've been working on the equivalent of the sequel. I call it USK 1.5 because the original manuscript was cracked in half. I had to. I couldn't afford to get the whole thing edited. So I cracked it in half. And have been working on what I said, what I call 1.5. Don't mean to go Kingdom Hearts on all this, but here we are. But I've been working on that. Managed to get to middle of chapter 10 on the rewrite for this back half of the manuscript before it turned into November. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do NaNoWriMo. And for some people saying this book is a zombie book, like a zombie apocalypse book, you'll understand what that means. For others, I would say it's like Halo Reach. This is not going to be a good story, it's going to be a tragedy. You kind of know the end going in. Right now I'm just writing the story, and the world the Dark creators took. There's a side story. I got over 50,000 words with a NaNoWriMo. Easily. Unfortunate for me, I had a very hard decision I had to make because I got my manuscript on November 14th at 2 a.m. How do I know this? Because I was awake, trying to communicate with Dylan, going, hey, if I don't get my fucking manuscript back, because it was 2 months. He was 2 months late. Just for the developmental edits. Not the whole kit and caboodle. Developmental edits. I said, look, if you don't get my manuscript back to me within the week, then I'm getting Red Z involved because this is freaking ridiculous. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of getting yanked around by a chain. I think I sent that either November. I'd have to go back and look at the messages, which is all on my computer. And I'm going to be saving these and being like, hey, here's the situation. Unfortunately, I'm about to cause drama. But I told him I'd get management, Red Z, involved if he didn't get my manuscript back because this was ridiculous. And I essentially, keeping in mind this is not how it's entirely worded, but this is the summary, and to even summarize it more, it's the professional way of saying, give me what I paid for, or you're getting kneecapped. It's the professional way of saying that. You know, you don't have to physically kneecap someone to get your point across. At least not in this state, anyway. Or at least in this case, I should say. Ooh, it's coming down harder. Again, you probably can't. You can see little bits. You can see the bigger stuff if you focus on the lawn. Specifically right at the edge of the table, you can see some of the bigger stuff coming down. But there's a lot of it coming down right now. But yeah, I finally got my manuscript back and went through all the edits after NaNoWriMo, because I sent a message back to him saying, great, I will look at this between all of the animations I am working on, all of the commissions I am working on, because I would write and then I would work on freelance stuff and streaming. And needless to say, I was very busy in the month of November. And I still haven't finished going through the developmental edits at this point, because then it became December. And that's Christmas time. And I hand make Christmas gifts. But because of that, trying to get communication with him, the manuscript, trying to get through it, and then making Christmas gifts, making sure the house doesn't implode, making sure my family doesn't go hoogwa. Needless to say, I didn't get very far with Christmas gifts. I wasn't able to make very many. And then just, I feel terrible that I was only able to get the ones I got done. I really wish I'd gotten them all done. But the year chill is hopefully to avoid that. I am still working on developmental edits. Out of 27 chapters, I am on chapter 4. These edits have been a slog because they're vague. They're vague. They're not specific. It's not like a, hey, try changing this up. This doesn't make sense from what I understand in the lore. And one of the edits he made was, hey, I think you should start your book in a different place. Didn't fucking tell me where, so I sent him a message saying, hey, because there was also the thing of, you're confused at how we got here. I know you read the book, right? Because I read through it, my beta readers read through it, and none of them were confused on how in the world we got there. So I'm like, okay, where would you start the story? Like, why were you confused? Where would you start the story? That was the last message I sent him on December 16th. The next message I got was December 26th, after Christmas, saying, oh no, let me look that up. Haven't heard a fucking peep since. And I'm just... sad, angry, but ultimately disappointed. And angry's not even the right word. Furious, boiling under the surface, but too damn disappointed to show it. Just, and like I said, the way I've done this so far is I've read through all the developmental edits and did the short, what I would call the short stuff. So small fixes, like if he made small comments, which he did not make many. Like my manuscript came back to me with a paper cut and I was expecting it to bleed like a stuck hog. It ended up with a paper cut and I'm not sure where the paper cut is. Kind of a thing. Because he did an editorial and then he did this, which just feels like another editorial. It doesn't feel like an in-depth developmental edit. Which is annoying. And he said, oh, my clients like this. And I'm like, I am brand new. I'm a new author. I'm expecting good work for the money I paid. And I'm sure I'm going to get a comment of like, well, $2,000 is pretty cheap for an editor. There were cheaper offers. I went with him. The person who was most expensive was $5,000. But I didn't have $5,000 at that time. I had $2,000. And the payments to the dude that option, the $5,000 one, would essentially have been a mortgage payment. And looking at it through that lens, I'm like, nope, this is out of my budget. Maybe next time. And I'm definitely going to look at him next time. Because, one, he had 243 reviews on Redzi. He was very professional. He was very cold, clean, and straight to the damn point. I wish I had gone with Joe instead of Dylan. But I went with Dylan because he sounded really enthusiastic. He's like, yeah, let me adjust my offer. When I started talking with him, apparently he has a wife and kid, or at least a kid on the way. And I'm like, okay. That plucked at my heartstrings, and I'm like, okay, I'll start moseying toward this guy. And he had written one of the things he had on his, on his genre, what he accepted as genre, there was sci-fi on there. It wasn't highlighted, but it was there. He also had fantasy, and he had dystopian. And I'm like, okay, well, my book's kind of grimdark. So that's why I went with him. Joe was actually sci-fi. And, like, he had it starred and highlighted. And I've gone back because I noticed Dylan's profile was suddenly unavailable. It was hard to find. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Went down to his reviews. It was in mid-September, and someone was ripping him a new one. Like, it was bad. He's like, I expect this guy's profile to be gone by the next time I look at it because this dude's a scammer. This is bad. And just absolutely just ripping him a brand new one. So at that time in September, I had reached out because it was getting close to, the deadline for the developmental edits on my book. Keeping in mind, my book is over 157,000, about 158,000 words. It's a chunky boy. It's a chunky boy. And just, I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And he's laughing in the text. He's like, yeah, everything's fine. Communication is just so piss poor with this guy. But anyway, all of this rambling to say I am never going with this editor again, which really freaking sucks. And there's a high likelihood. Oh my gosh, the snow is coming down more. Goodness. Oh, those are big chunkos. Those are big chunkies. Can you see? Yeah, you can see the big chunkies. Good, good, good. Get used to the cold. Uh-oh. But, I may have to get another editor for this book. It's that bad. And I have gone from hopeful to, well, like I described earlier, boiling under the surface, furious, sad, but ultimately disappointed. And I'm pulling my toboggan back down on my head. Oh my gosh. Aren't toboggans supposed to, like, stay on your head? Why does this one keep trying to pop off? Maybe it's like, oh, it's my turn to pop off. All the yammering I'm doing. I will say, this is a decent amount of snow. A decent amount of ice. But anyway. But yeah, so the editor it's new. A challenge in and of itself. He only had 6 reviews. Now he has 9. And the one that was ripping him to shreds is gone. I'm like, wonder why that happened. And like, with Redsy, you have to work with someone in order to for someone to leave a review. Like, you don't get to just randomly pop on and be like, I know this guy. Hey, kicked my dog in the 2nd grade. You don't have that. You don't have that. You can't do what's called review bombing. You actually have to hire and work with. And you cannot leave a review until you're done paying. And I'm just... sad. Honestly, I want a full refund, to be entirely honest. At least that's how mad I've been. But anyway. But yeah, the book editor, I'm going through the edits, slowly but surely. Because I went through all the initial edits, like reading them and doing the short changes, and now I'm doing the big changes, which is going line by line through the manuscript, tightening up language, and some things I'm having to flesh out. So my word count, I've decreased it to 157,197, I believe was the last count. So it's slowly going down, even with me fleshing things out, but I'm doing more concise things, tightening things up. It's like, okay, this could be better worded. And those admittedly were things he pointed out, but it was in the editorial. And things he's like, oh, your main characters, Yusuke and Unoraptormon, like, they have an interesting thing, but hey, dive into their past and their flashbacks, and I'm like, why? That doesn't make sense. It does not make a lick of sense. It doesn't. And it's sad. It's like he claimed to read through the manuscript 3 whole times. And I'm just like, are you sure you read through it? Are you certain? Like, a lot of the edits feel like he didn't even read it. Like, he didn't read the whole manuscript. A lot of them. I'd say 90% of them. The other 10% are actually good edits. One of them being, hey, try and tighten up the language. Whenever he tried to change the dialogue, that was annoying as fuck, because I'm like, no, the character wouldn't say this. No. Unoraptormon speaks like a Shakespearean actor. She doesn't use contractions, and Yusuke eventually doesn't use contractions because she's constantly around Yuno. She has Unoraptormon's voice in her head because she is the host of Unoraptormon at this time. Dobie wouldn't say that. Torrance wouldn't say that. Ty definitely wouldn't say that. And there were a lot of things where I'm like, oh, maybe he'll think this is clever. Maybe he'll pick up on the foreshadowing because he's read it 3 times. Not a peep. There was an epic freaking fight scene. And it called back to things that were from the beginning of the book. And it didn't click. He didn't mention a thing. And he also didn't catch the small little detail that ended the fight, which was also foreshadowed. He didn't catch any of it. None of it. Needless to say, I was, again, sad and disappointed. And he's like, oh, the ending's rough. I'm like, yeah, understandable, because it's more of a climax. It was originally the middle of the book rather than the end, so at the very least I can flesh things out there. But oh no, my tea is cold. Frick. I'm gonna have to go in soon. I can't handle 2 cold substances, one of which being the weather. But anyway. But yeah, so the book editor is new. But still working on UScale 1.5, still going through the edits. I'm mostly, in terms of book, I am focused on edits, getting those developmental edits, going through the entire manuscript line by line and getting it done. My aim is to decrease word count while still fleshing certain things out, like fleshing the world out. And things he kept saying is important, and I'm like, it's not that important. And certain body language things, I'm like, no, curled fingers does not a fist always make. There's like the sassy curl of the hand, and it's supposed to display body language. Maybe I should have chosen a chick to edit this. Because the female beta readers made it through, all the way through. The male beta reader did not. Male beta reader stopped at chapter 10. Which sucks. That means he missed the assassinations. But anyway. Just trying not to spoil my own book. I've talked about it before, but eh. But anyway. He's so fluffy. Look at the fluffies now. I think I've spent the majority of this talking about book. But anyway, this is going to be my year of chill. Hopefully that equates to eventually having baby. Because that means I will have de-stressed. I hope. And then all of these New Year's resolutions that I have made, like I said, I think I maybe have 8, maybe, might have 10. Each of my little sections only have like 2, maybe 3 resolutions in them, and there's not that many. But I'm doing my June bug art challenge, like I always do, because I made that and I'm sticking with it. And then doing NaNoWriMo. Those are the only challenges I am planning on doing this year, and those are on my New Year's resolutions. I will say with positive, starting out this new year with my chill and it actually working. Definitely chilly now, but I got 4 paintings done. They've been kind of, not quite in limbo, but I've been working on them off and on. One of which was a color restricted piece, the other 2 which is entirely scrap yarn, or not scrap yarn, scrap paint. Like I'll finish painting something and then I'll use whatever's left over, but there's almost always paint left over. I always end up pouring out too much. But I use it on those. And this one is a gorgeous beach scene. This other one is this, not quite abstract, but it's kind of a topsy-turvy kind of a thing. I think it's neat. I like it. And it used some watercolor that I was using, some of this like super glittery paint that was really cute. I had used that on a cow painting, which I finished last year. I don't think I took a picture of it. I know I asked my mom to, And I think I took a picture of my mom with the cow painting. Mom liked it so much because originally it was supposed to go to this a friend of the family, but Mom liked it too much, so she kept it. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I'm making Mom a painting of a hippo and a Highland cow because she loves both of those for her birthday, which is at the end of this month. Which, if you're listening to this in any other month but January, it's January. It's the first snow of the year of 2024. I'm letting out too much heat. Anyway. But I got 4 paintings done. One was a color restricted piece, which was just black and white. There's a snowscape. And I'm like, you know what, that seems like right. And just mixing, like, to get grays, various grays and stuff like that to make everything. And I did a little shape tape on it, which was cool. And in the end, it was pretty neat. So I finished that one, finished the really gorgeous beach scene, and then finished the kind of topsy-turvy one, which you could turn it either direction, it would still technically be right. You can turn it right side up or upside down, and it would both be correct. I look a little funky at first, but it's easy to get used to. Also, last year I did this really neat experimental piece where I make some glow-in-the-dark medium with some yellow to do a cloud painting. It was like a moon. It looked like it was nestled in the clouds like an egg. So I'm like, my camera could not capture it. No matter how hard I tried, my camera would not catch it. So I'm like, fluff this. I am painting it. And I painted it. And it now has that really cool glow effect. It actually worked. The glow effect actually works. You shine a light on it. It goes throughout the day with light on it. I have it positioned so that the light that comes through, like the front door, hits the stuff that is not iridescent, but glows in the dark. And it looks good. It looks good. I'm actually happy with it. And I'm happy with the paintings that I just finished. And I also finished an animation. Unfortunately, it's a Christmas animation. And I've been meaning to get this done for over a year now. But it's done. Oh yeah, and last year I did a Thanksgiving animation in a week. Elmo, the pig's creator, Patrick, I think it's Brunson. You could find it in Unoraptormon's animations, and then there's a playlist called Elmo the Pig. It should be the second one of Elmo the Pig Thanksgiving. Used an old song. Nowadays you could probably hear it in Fallout New Vegas. But anyway. But yeah, I finished a new animation. I call it Ghost Tree. It will not be posted on YouTube until December. The person, because it's technically a fan art animation, the person who I made it for originally has seen it and she really liked it. Those who are Subscribe Star, Patreon, eventually Ko-fi, you guys will be able to see it this month, starting today actually. That means I need to make that post on Ko-fi because I already made them on Subscribe Star and Patreon. I keep forgetting Patreon exists. But yeah, they are paid. Obviously they're behind the paywall until December, which in December they will be available to the publica, the public. And haven't finished much else other than like editing through chapters. Oh man, I gotta start cleaning again today. That's right. Oh yeah, I started a new cleaning regimen. 6 days a week, 1 day off. Each day I focus on a different thing. So it's working so far. Also the first 10 days me and my husband did a deep clean of the house. Asthma attacks every day because I'm allergic to dust. There was a shit ton of dust, and I've got to do that again today because today is cleaning the bedroom. So I gotta vacuum the floors, clean the fans, but this time I gotta move the bed and get under it and vacuum. And then I will be sending my husband to like scrub the shower because he doesn't like vacuuming. He initially told me because it hurts his ears, and I'm like, okay, I'll do vacuuming when you're on the other side of the house or when you're out and about. He most recently told me, he's like, I am so sorry I told you that. That's not the case. It's just really annoying. The sound of the vacuum cleaner is really annoying to me. I'm like, you heifer. I would gladly have taken the vacuuming chore. I like vacuuming. I like mopping. I'm weird. But anyway, oh boy, it's coming down more. Again, I don't know if you can see that in woo. Big old chunkies. Don't know if you can see that in the thing. But big old chunkies. Pretty. But yeah. But I'm still planning on doing a chill year. Streaming, the reason I'm doing this as a recorded video instead of streaming is because I've been multi-streaming, which is another new thing. Twitch finally allowed multi-streaming, and boy howdy, I'm taking advantage of it. Especially because Twitch seems to be dying a bit again. They laid off about 35% of their workforce again, like this month. So yeah, and then they're making changes to the Amazon Prime perks in relations to Twitch. It's no longer going to be a free sub to any channel. It's going to be like maybe half off if we're lucky, like half off a sub, or it's going to no longer exist. Like they're going to remove it entirely because Twitch is losing Amazon too much money. And like the Partner Program and Partner Program Plus, the reason those changes were made is because Twitch was losing too much money. And Twitch is my best platform right now. So all of this sucks. So thankfully with the multi-streaming thing, I can stream to multiple places. And yeah. Don't have as much to worry with. The hardest thing is getting all the chats together. Because there's three chats, and there may soon be 4. I'm not sure yet. Because I'm looking at everywhere that has live streaming available. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway. So yeah, it's not that I am moving to any particular platform, staying there. It is entirely just, I am, oh wow, that is really coming down. Jiminy Cricket. So much snow. Oh, sugar bits. You can actually see it on the camera now. You can see half of it on the camera. The snow is coming down. Like, it's actually kind of foggy. There's so much snow. But I'm gonna be trying to finish animations this year. We'll see. I am taking things at a snail's pace this year. Mainly because my original plans have all been thrown out the window. Thanks, Dylan. So I was gonna get published. Like I said earlier, I was gonna get published this year. At this point, I'm gonna have to push it off to 2025. So, not happy. But anyway, I am officially getting too cold. I can barely feel my toes. So, I'm gonna head in. And I'm gonna upload this after I'm done. So, talk to you later.